Hello, this is the 2020 Exam 2 General Math question 5 of networks. So we have a table, we have durations in months, ESTs, predecessors, activities, that sort of thing. Activity C's duration is missing, which will be asked about no doubt. Yes, okay. Okay, the network is going to require a dummy. We want to know between which two vertices the dummy is. Okay. So looking at the table alone, we can see a dummy is going to be involved somewhere here because B has to be on its own for F, but with A for C. So we're going to draw the thing. That's going to help with most of the question, and generally speaking, if you have time, you should draw it. Otherwise, try to answer the questions, but it is going to be tricky. Apologies for the chair. Okay, so let's draw this thing. We've got A and B with no immediate predecessors. Stylus, hello. There we go. A and B. Okay. A has a duration of 2. B has a duration of 5. C comes after A and B. F comes after only B though. So we're going to do F after only B. So there's my F with a duration of 3. Because the middle column's duration. So F after B, A and B, and then C after A and B together, which means the dummy has to go like that. So now the dummy is pointing up towards A, which means that anything after this point is after A and B, but F is only after B, which is what it requires. So you have to be careful with the direction of the dummy there and the placement. So after A and B was C, so I've got a C there with duration of unknown. After C, I've got D and E. So I've got activity D and activity E. Activity D has a duration of 7. Activity E has a duration of 9. Arrow, arrow, arrow. Oh, that's more of a line. Arrow, there we go. So C, D, E, all done. G comes after D. And it's going to meet up here. So G is going to go this way. So G has a duration of 14. H comes after F and also meets at that point. So we've got H with a duration of 8, and then from here I've got G, H, and E all meeting for activity I, which is going to be this one here with a duration of 2. So just quick double check. A has a duration of 2, B is 5, F is 3, D is 7, E is 9, yes, yes, G is 4, H is 9, so I've stopped that one up, so H is meant to be 9, whoops, always good to check. I is 2, okay, and then I want to know, so the first one was where does the dummy go, so it goes to the end of B to the start of C, so that was the first question there, end of activity B to the start of activity C. The duration in months of activity C. So the EST of D and E is 7 for both, and we know the EST of C is 5, which means that the duration must be 2. So that's that. The critical path, duration months of C is 2 for activities that have a float time. Okay, so to find the activities that have a float, we should find the critical path. So the EST of I is going to be 18. So we're going to find the route that takes 18 to get there. Right, that's coming from this information here. So 5, 3, 9 would be 17. 5, 6, 7 plus 7 is 14. Plus 14 is 18. Is that right? I think so, right? So B is 5 plus dummy, so 0. 5 plus 2 is 7. Plus 7 is 14. Plus 14 is 28. 28. Hang on. But we said it was a... Oh, that's because my G shouldn't be a 14, and I thought I checked that. G is meant to have a duration of 4, not 14, so don't do that. Maybe a quick double check is in order again then. A is 2, B is 5, C is 2, D is 7, E is 9, F is 3, yes. G is 4, correct now. H is 9, yes, and I is 2, yep. Any questions where they have ESTs and durations, it's always going to be worth double checking that you've drawn it correctly, unless you're good at this, unlike me apparently. So quick double check again. B is 5 plus C, which is 7, plus 7 is 14, plus 4 is 18. Yep. I really only picked that up because I calculated it to be 28 and I knew it should have been 18, so I was off by 10, so then I saw this was, yeah. So that's how I noticed that error. My bad. So the activities on the critical path are those and then I. So the activities with a float are going to be A, F, E, and H, or A, E, F, and H. So that's this one. Cool. The project is to be crashed by reducing the completion time of one activity only. What is the minimum time in months that can be completed in? Okay, so we know that the activity's full duration is 20 because there's an EST of 18 there, and then I takes 2 to give me 20. I can crash the duration of one activity. What we should consider though is that there are going to be multiple routes through this graph, and so this is one of those questions where you could write down all the routes. You could write down all the routes. Should you? You probably should. So the easiest way is going to be to write all the routes. So if you have time, you could do this. I'm not going to write down any route involving A because B to get here is going to be longer. Though we might need to. No, I'm going to write it all down. So writing all the routes down, we've got A, C, D, G, I, and then A, C, E, I. And then we have B, C, D, G, I, so the same except B, so B, C, D, G, I, and then B, C, E, I as well. And then we have B, F, H, I. I think that's it. It's not too bad actually. B, F, H, I. I think that's all of them. So we've got A, C, yep, A, C, yep, B, yep, B, yep, and then that, yep. So that's all the routes. So we know the ACDGI route is 20. The ACEI route is 4 plus 11 is 15. The BCDGI, the BCDGI is 20. The ACEI is 4 plus 11, which is 15. The ACDGI route is going to be 17. The BCEI route is going to be 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 11 is 18. And then the BFHI route is 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 9 is 17, plus 2 is 19. Okay, so I can reduce the length of one activity. It has to be one of the critical activities, so it's going to be B or C or D or G or I. I can reduce I by only 1, so it doesn't seem very good. So let's maybe write down our options. So B, C, D, G, I. We can only reduce I by 1, so not very cool. We've got the next longest route, not involving a B, is the ACDGI route with a 17. So I could reduce B by 3, bringing the 20 down to 17, so B by 3. And that would bring all of these routes down below 17, so all of the bottom routes, they would all be 17 or lower, and then 17 will be the next best thing. I could do C, but if I reduce C, it won't affect this 19 route at the very bottom. So C is not very good because it would only reduce the critical path by 1. I could reduce D, but for the same reason, the 19 route wouldn't be affected. I could reduce G, but for the same reason, the 19 route wouldn't be affected. And then I would affect it, but I can only reduce I by 1. So B is the one I'm going to reduce, and I'm going to reduce it by 3 because B has a duration of 5, can be reduced by 3, and that will bring it down to 17. So the BCDGI route would be 17, this would be 15 still, this would be 17 still, this would be 15, this would be 16. And then reducing B by 1 more just means that the top route would become critical and I can't reduce it because I'm only reducing one thing. So the minimum time it can be completed in, it was 20, it's now going to be 17. And that's it. So yeah, definitely a tricky question to finish things off. 12% got that last one, 23% got this one, 49% got that one, and then 26% got that one there. So overall, a pretty hard question. So I hope that made sense. Hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next one.